Hello, everyone, and welcome to Agents of Assurance, a podcast by Devasha. So, on this podcast, we feature people, processes, and technologies that are transforming software testing. My name is Divya. I'm the co founder of Devasha and your host. And today's guest is someone who has been an innovator in the area of quality assurance, Pratik Pashtey. With over 5 years of hands on experience, Pratik currently leads the QA team at CoverStack, where he's been instrumental in driving test strategies, automation, and cross functional collaboration. His journey spans from CoverFox Insurance to his current role, consistently focusing on efficiency, accuracy, and building a culture of quality. Pratik, we are thrilled to have you here as our first guest on Agents of Assurance. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Divya.
So here's my first question to you, Pratik. So when you
Okay.
reflect on your how your team used to approach test automation, right? So what do you think was the hidden cost of code-heavy frameworks?
So basically, when I reflect on our earlier days with a heavy code automation framework, the biggest hidden cost was the time. So both in development of the coding and the maintenance of that code. So writing test cases felt like means like a writing test case felt like writing production code only, like setting up locators, then setting up frameworks, then we have to add some weights to wait for that, then error handling from scratch every time, and it will slow down the regression and release for the our product only. So, but what keep really kept over the time was the maintenance depth. So one small UI change, what can I say? So one small UI change can suddenly fail our test cases little bit. So basically, if with previous automation methodology, if there is any change in one UI locator, then it will fail around 10 to 15 test cases. Okay. So because of just selector in debugging, we are wasting our more of the time. So every new test is required a decent chunk of dev time. Onboarding new team members was also slow. Even a small UI change could broke the multiple scripts. So that is the cost. Another hidden cost was the collaboration because everything was buried in the code. Non-developers like QA analysts, project manager were sidelined. So they couldn't contribute directly to the test creation and understand the what is the exactly failure in the test case, which will slow down our feedback loops.
Yeah, that's very true, right? Because open source tends to be free, but then it comes with a huge maintenance. True. And then from your experience, so was there a specific moment that made you realize that the testing process had to change?
So there are one or two releases which lift from our side only. So that we are rolling out one minor UI change, like one UI change. We are not sure about that key. One UI change will mislead our entire process, entire release only. So, but when we push it to the staging, there is one minor change, and when we push it to the staging, then dozens of automated tested which you have created through the open source software, which got break. So basically, there is no backup locator for that only. So it has break. But because of this, some buttons got changed. As I said, buttons are changed, UI changed. It turns into full day firefight. Like the dev team is frustrated that we are not doing anything, we are not changing anything. So they had felt like they are blocked because of false negatives. Then QA is also stressed, like you what exactly failed here. So they were asking, keep such why are such small change delayed to release by a few days only. So that was our wake up call, and we realized that our frame was little bit brittle and tightly coupled to the front end, and totally depend on the perfect stability. Like we can use the backup locators or sometime inbuilt wait timing and all not. So yeah, that is the moment Spark was shift towards the more resilient, intelligent testing tool, the better collaboration.
I think sometimes just a tiny change and it causes such catastrophic events to happen, right? Right, like adopting this no-code testing is actually, there's a tool shift that definitely happens, but there's
Yeah,
also a culture mindset shift that needs to happen as well, right? So how did your
yeah.
team make this work?
So adapting to the no-code testing wasn't about the plugging into the new tool only. It was about the unlearning the old habits. The first thing we have to get let go to the was the idea of that more code equals more control. For
Yeah.
years, we believe that if it is wasn't written in JavaScript, Python, or Java or any other language, it could be real automation. So shifting to a visual no-code platform felt almost like a cheating at first only until we saw how quickly we could build and adjust the skill test. So another big unlearning is that the belief that only developers can do automation. A guy who knows the code language, who that guy only do the automation only. So no code platform blurred those lines. Suddenly QA analyst, project manager, product someone with the less knowledge of coding also can do the automation with the no code platform. And they were actually excited to for and the team is like actually excited to for this. The then ultimately we had to shift from being code centric to outcome centric. If the test is stable, fast and accurate, does it matter uh, how fast lines of like how many number of lines of code they have? The mindset really changed from there.
So, but when we talk about agentic testing itself, right? So, did that framing change how your QA engineers or developers think about automation?
Yeah, agentic testing really reframed everything for us. Instead of thinking automation as just a set of instruction, you are start thinking that it is a smart teammate. That
Hmm.
shift was subtle but powerful. At the first, there was hesitation, like especially from QA folks used to tight control. The idea of a system that makes decision on its own, that felt risky. But once they saw that an agent could heal broken locators, like as I said, so there is a small change in UI can automatically heal by the agent only. Adapt small UI change and even prioritize the test run. So basically, if we have to prioritize the test run, we have to manually prioritize in the older version of the older version like tools. Then in this agentic testing, we have not have to do that much. So it wasn't about giving the control; it was about the leverage only. For developers, it was a breath of fresh air, good too. They were no longer bottleneck in the test creation. They could focus on writing the code at their own end, while agent handled the repetitive checks and surface real issues faster. So yes, it was uncomfortable at first, but like handling the wheel to a co-pilot. But over time, it built trust, and now the team doesn't just use automation; we collaborate with it.
Very well said, right? But let's talk a little bit of outcomes as well. So, from your
Yeah.
perspective, right? So, what metric or shift made you more confident that no code testing wasn't just a shiny new tool?
Okay, for me, the turning wasn't just a flashy dashboard. It
Hmm.
was shift in the team behavior only.
Yeah.
So we went from writing three automation tested, automated tests in a sprint to building and updating dozens of without burning from out of QA time. Like we have lesser time to do the automation, then we have to write the test cases, which is burning out to QA team. Suddenly but now with this the suddenly the testers were spending less time in debugging flagged scripts and more time actually thinking how we can discover and how can we can do the explorer testing. So one metric that really stood out is that test maintenance time dropped over 60 around 50%. Okay, so that was massive for me only. It means we weren't just faster, we are more focused and less reactive. But beyond number, it was just hearing a product owner say, wait, I can build a test for that. That when I knew no code wasn't just a shiny tool, it was just a culture shift only. So it changed how people saw testing from bottleneck, but as a shared responsibility only for me.
Right. Yeah. So some teams worry that, no code limits flexibility. Like you mentioned, right? There are a lot of complex things like
Yeah.
within Cover Fox insurance itself, right? So how do you handle them? How do you handle those?
Okay. So one of the first objective we had at, but what is the edge cases? So every time we get to know what is the edge cases.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's fair. No code tools aren't magic, but they are powerful, but not limitless. So we did the run. We run into edge cases, especially when dealing with dynamic terms. So basically, sometimes we have to face that the element is present in DOM but not loaded like that only. Then complex iframe structure or custom canvas based elements like there is one painting and we have there is one like somewhat canvas based elements also. But there is a thing that the base code node platform don't lock you out. Okay.
Yeah.
So they let you drop in custom code or JavaScript snippets, right? Where you need that extra flexibility. So we took a hybrid approach. 80% to 90% of test cases are handled visually, fast and stable. For that tricky 10%, we extended the tool with custom logic, API validations, no code didn't limit us. It freed us up to focus on the parts that actually needed deeper technical technology. Okay. In the end, we stopped treating edge case like a blocker because though edge case is not a blocker for any release or like that only, and started edge case in, as an invitation to blend no code technology with smart code.
Got it. I think I like your hybrid approach as well, which I think many teams should adopt as well, right? Because this
Yeah.
Always comes up, right? Does no code solve for edge cases and all that? But
Yeah, yeah.
well said, yeah. I think that smart code is actually the new norm, right? So no, we are also at an inflection point where Gen AI agents and no code are converging. So what do you think that QA will look like in 2 years from now?
So I know we are absolutely at the inflection point only. And from 2 years from now, I don't think QA will about executing test case. It will be about overstretching intelligence system that test themselves only. Imagine this if GenAI is powered agent watches, code commit in real times, understand the intent of the change, and spins up relevant tests. No human is needed in that. It doesn't just run tests, it decides what to test based on risk, users data, and past failures. And QA engineer, where is the QA engineer? Their role evolves. They become more of a quality strategic curating training data for these agents, like how to feed them. Like if there is any change in small change, then we have to check that change. So we have to feed the agent also. Then reviewing the edge cases also. Then guiding how AI make so decisions. So there should be one person who should teach AI that how to make decisions and collaborating with dev teams, building the system. And that are not only tested but self-aware also. So no code platform will be interface, GNI will be the engine, and the agents will be the operators. So QA won't just finding the bugs, it will predict, prevent, and even prioritize what matter most to the users. So basically QA are the ones who are the gatekeeper for the users only. In short, QA will stop chasing the bugs and start managing the intelligent quality ecosystem for them.
Right. So if every test case could be AI generated, then what becomes the most valuable human skill in QA?
So if AI can generate the every test case, then honestly, we are getting close then the real value shift from execution to intuition. The most valuable QA skill is critical thinking only. The ability to ask why we are testing. Are we testing the right things? The
Yes.
testing is according to the BRD or not, according to the requirement of the customer or not. What actually user trying to do? A user will think in this way or not. So basically, where we go wrong in the real world, not just in the code only. It is going to be about contextual judgment only. So understanding business impact, user behavior, system risk, in which AI will can't fully grasp. Also, collaboration becomes a superpower only. QA will be the bridge between the technical system and the human experience. As I said, the QA team is the only the gatekeeper, also the bridge between the users and the application which we are testing. Yeah. So when AI handles how humans will own and why, and that will be the new core of the quality only.
And so thank you for answering all my questions so patiently, right? I loved how you deep dived into every aspect of it. And now on to some rapid fire questions. Great. So what's one myth about no code test automation that needs to die?
One myth. So basically, no code just is just a shortcut. No,
Mm.
it's not a shortcut. It's a strategy only. So the no code which the saves the times, reduces the maintenance, and bring QA, devs, and product onto the same page, which will not be the any shortcut or that thing only.
And the most underrated skill for tomorrow's QA engineer?
Not just finding the bugs, but understanding how features the data users, as I said before only, it is how the impact on the users, then risk connects. Tomorrow's QA won't just test software, they will test outcomes only.
True. And tool you'll never go back to? And why?
Tool will never go back to like traditional tools only because spending of hours on tire debugging XPath failure, then the backup locator for that element, then why element is not finding, then UI tweaks isn't testing. So it's a torture like that thing only. And smarter tools now do more with the less drama only. So
Faster releases or fewer bugs? Which would you pick?
fewer bugs only because speed means nothing if user don't trust what you ship. Quality builds confidence, and that is what makes velocity sustainable.
And one thing every testing team should start doing this quarter?
Start treating test data like a production clean, reliable, and reusable test data, which speeds up the automation, reduces the slickiness, and builds the trust across the QA, dev team, staging team, and one staging stakeholders and product managers also.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you as our first guest on Agents of Assurance. Thank you so much.
For sure.